I'm going to be doing a painting in soft pastels. I have my pastels all laid out. I have 140-pound watercolor paper, and let's get started. I'm going to start with just laying some colors in. I think we're going to do a floral. And it's just on white paper, and I'm just working out, not doing any particular pattern. And I'm going to take some yellows. For the center, I'll work my way out with those a little bit. And it's a firm pushing on this, nothing, I'm not scrubbing it, but I am using a firm pressure. And then I'm going to go in with a little deeper red. I'm going to come back in with my, it's like a scarlet orange. Kind of blend those together. I'm going to take my finger and kind of just do a little blending. I'm not doing a lot of blending. I just kind of work my way around. I want to keep those sharp edges, so I'm not working my way all the way out. And then I'm just blowing the excess off. I do have paper towels to clean my fingers. So I'm going to take a little, it's like a brownish yellow, and maybe not scrubbing it. I'm just kind of almost like a dot in the center, almost if there's like some type of seeds or small darker center here. Okay, I like that. All right, now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to start with the yellow and basically do the same thing. Now I want to overlap a little bit the two flowers, so I'm going to work my way out. Keep getting that a little bit bigger. And then this in here, about the same size, maybe slightly bigger. I'm going to come back in and kind of overlap a little bit on this side, not much, just so they're kind of touching. There. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit here. I'm going to take a brighter, lighter yellow. Work my way around. And in the center, come in with my little darker. And then I'm going to get a lighter touch as I'm coming around. I'm going to kind of just blend that out just a smidgen. I don't want to lose all the lines. All right, I'm going to take, I have this orange, but the same color I had here. I'm just gonna lightly put some lines in here. almost as if it's reflecting a little bit of that color onto this one. And It deepens that one side. And then in the center, I'm going to add some of that color. Not losing the darker color I had. And I like that. That looks good. Okay. I'm going to go in and let's see. Let's do one more. I think this one I'm going to start with the bright red. Same thing. Just working my way out. And like I said, I'm using a firm stroke. And this one is, see, it's coming right into the other two. A little bit over here, and center I'm going to do yellow. I'm actually going to bring that out, and then I'm going to come in with my darker. And then I think I'm going to go even darker. Pick up some of that orange I used there. Come out a little further. Because I started with the bright red, it's going to be a lot darker than this one, but it will carry some of that color. All right, and let's lightly blend. Very lightly, just pulling it out. So I've got my three main flowers. I'm going with some of the greens. And right underneath, I'm going to pull some of that. And I want to keep these sort of leaves shaped. I don't need them looking exactly like leaves. We can just basic shape, come back in, and then just kind of blend those in a little bit. We're going to have some green showing here. Because that's a small area, I'm just going to use this is rolled paper. You can get these, they're like a blending stick. They do sell them. I'm going to add a little touches of green, just here and there. Just looks like there's something there. All right, and then here. And that's going to come out to a bit of a point. Go back to some of my yellow. And in here and out here, I'm just gonna bring that out. And let's get a lighter green. And just start working your way out. Right now I'm just kind of filling in color. Got various greens. And they're just sort of two colors. I'm going to throw a little bit of yellow on one side. Just, I want a mixture of different greens, but I do want some basic shapes in here. This I'm just sort of smudging some color. And I'm even going to take a little bit of the red and put some color out here. Back into my greens. Maybe there's a leaf or something over here coming off. And like I said, they're rough, very rough leaf shapes. Just, and then I can take, my fingers are dirty, but I'm using that to my advantage. In fact, I can even take a little bit of this red here and pull it out, almost like a reflection from the flower. And let's go in. I'm going to take some yellow in here, back to my greens, and then into my darker. Up against the flower, you want the darker greens. You can bring some up to that one side. And let's get some rough edges there. And even sort of put a line through the center and just kind of smudge it out a little bit. And I can even take some of this color and some even the yellows. And be careful about smudging those too much, but just picking up some of the different colors around. And let's go back in. I'm going to go back into some of my dark greens. Maybe there's a leaf here, one coming off here, maybe something there, maybe a stem. Play around with it, just. And I'm going to take some of the yellow. Maybe one side is. And then I'm going to kind of smudge some of those greens out. Just trying to block in some of the, where the whites is. I'm maybe down here. Here's something kind of a stem. Something coming off of there. I don't want anything too defined. Mostly I want the flowers defined. Alright, let's go up with some of our lighter. And this I'm just going to kind of smear some of that. And then I want to get into some blues. I've got a pale blue here. Just not too much. I don't want blue skies. I want more gardens, but it does cool the different greens down. Let's pull some yellows in here. Maybe some of the reds coming up. And then here, it's like a good place for a leaf to be coming out, maybe a couple. And then maybe something here. In fact, I can go in with a little bit of darker on one side. And maybe something down here. Alright, and my hands are pretty dirty, but I'm just using that to smudge around. I think we could use a little bit up here. Alright, so we've got a basic background. It's sort of blended in. Now I'm going to come in and work these flowers a little bit more. I'm pushing a little bit harder. And I want to put darker in. By putting darks in the center, it pulls the flower inward. So I'm gonna, since I was using the browns, I'm gonna, and then my dark red. So. And then in the center of that, I don't use a lot of black, but I am gonna just sort of kind of dot, 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 and just kind of tap it, pulling it out a little bit. Get it real deep in there. All right. So now I'm gonna pull this in from the outside. Actually bringing some of the greens in a little bit. All right, I got that. I'll actually take a little bit of white and just kind of almost in a starburst, and just touch. So it makes it look like it's coming open that way. All right. I think I'm gonna get something to clean my hands up a little before I go into the yellow. All right, I'm gonna go into the yellows. I've cleaned my hands fairly decently. And we're gonna pretty much do the same thing. I'm gonna take some of the, almost this color that we were using there. And I'm gonna pull some out. And almost do pinwheel type. All right. Now I'm going to take some whites and I'm going to pull those in from the outside. And then with my clean fingers, I'm going to pull inward. And I will pick up some of that red, pull it in, and it'll be almost like a reflection on that side. Wipe my fingers. And if I pull some of the greens in, that's fine too. Okay. And then just go back in and pull those out a little more. Okay. Now we got this one here. And I'm going to go in some of my browns. Basically, put a brown circle there, and then work it out a little bit. I'm going to take some of my pale, rather than white. It's the pale orange. And I'm pushing pretty firmly as I come around. And I'm going to kind of pull that back in. Then I'm going to go into my reds. I'm going to give it a, I think I'll give it a red center. You can still see the dark spot in there. Pull that out. Let's go back. I think I'm even going to go into my deep brown. And there are little itch marks. All right, and then dark right in the center. All right, and I think this one I'm gonna do a little dot, dot, dot in that center. So we've got our 3 main flowers. In fact, this one, I think I'm going to take my lighter colors and actually go out the line and bring it out a little bit bigger out into the greens. I'm not going to do it all the way around here. I'm going to want that one over top. So, but you can change the size. Make them bigger. You're actually better off making them a little smaller to begin with. And the reds I'm going to kind of bring in. All right, so we've got several flowers. This one looks like it could use a stem. That's something coming off of that there. You can use different lines like this. Maybe a little more red back in here. Maybe there's a flower somewhere in the background that we don't see. Maybe some of the oranges in here. And since we got yellows, we can add some down in here. And then down here, we can bring some grasses or something coming up from there. And you smudge them in. We don't know quite what's growing all in there. But we've got the different. And now stand back, take a look. Maybe here. I mean, I'm literally scribbling on this side of the flower. And as I come over here, I'm getting lighter, 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 and then completely stopping. I want this side darker. This is more in sunlight. So you can see how you can use that white to bring that out. This one, I think I'm going to use some, let's see what the yellow does. Lightens that up a little bit. And just the one side. So you can do different things. You can take some more of the dark reds in here where it's up against each other. Those might be shadowing. You can get real deep. So I mean, you play around with these and see how I like that. See how when I came out into the green, it really put a shadow. And I mean, I am pushing hard here. So now we got a shadow here. And I like that. We can even come a little bit lighter to lighter. So it isn't quite as shadow, and we can sort of work those two together a little bit. And then of course back to the yellows as it lightens up over here a little bit. This one, if you want a little lighter up there, you can even put some of the whites. Here, we can lighten that edge with some light yellows. And get down into our deeper. And there's some shadow colors. So you can play around with these and make them stand out or recede back depending on what color you use. Let's see how that lightens that side up, and that pops that out more. And then of course we can use the deeper yellows on this side. Pick up some of the greens. So we have some, let's go back in the green here. Back to that, we sort of lost the stem for that. And I think I like to take some more of the colors. Add some color here and there. I like color. We got all these colors, we may as well use them. Let's take some of this. And maybe, oh, let's see, some of this orange here. Maybe down in here, something. And then of course the yellows were up here. All right. Clean up around the edges. Let's get our mat, see what we look like. We can put our mat on it. Stand back, take a look, see where you need some work. I think maybe I might take a little more of that dark red. Move a little more of it up here. On this dark side. And I think I've got a finished painting. I'm gonna take my pencil, I'm gonna sign that. These are pastel pencils that I'm signing with, and I think we got a finished painting there. I hope you enjoyed that one.